sure you're nice and warmed up because we're going right into round one. We're starting with a child's pose breathing. I'm placing a pillow underneath my butt, and then I'm also going to fold one in half and place it at the base of my rib cage. And then we're just breathing here, thinking about nice full inhales, thinking about filling the pelvis and the back. So you're trying to get that nice, good back expansion with your inhales, and then exhale, lifting the pelvic floor, tightening that core. Again, really trying to breathe into any tight spots, into the back, getting some rounding through the spine. That pillow in the front is helping not push air out of your belly. So we're really working that back expansion with this move. Just kind of warming you up and gently easing into things here. About 5 or 6 breaths. Really full audible inhales, really full audible exhales. Okay, moving the pillows off to the side. Now you're going to need to be near a wall for this. I am laying on my back, knees are bent, feet on the floor, hands are on the wall with a slight bend in the elbow. And then you're thinking about your hands are glued to the wall with super glue, but you are trying to drag them up. So you are creating tension and helping pull that rib cage back as you breathe here. Again, big, full, audible inhales, filling all the tight spots. Exhale, lifting that pelvic floor, cinching that corset, those TAs, that deep core. Ribs follow. Okay, shake it out a little bit. Keeping those same mechanics now, as you exhale, we're going to add a leg slide. Big, full inhale. Exhale, slide that leg out and back in while you exhale. Making sure that you're not shifting from side to side. You're not letting the pelvis tip. You're keeping some tension on the wall. And you're really working through that deep core to keep you stable. Again, as you slide those legs. Really trying to keep tension through the core, keeping the ribs and the hips connected with each leg slide. Again, check and make sure you still have tension against the wall. So it's like you're trying to drag the arms up, but they don't actually move because they're glued to the wall with super glue. Again, really thinking about that exhale, lift the pelvic floor, tighten those deep, deep TAs. Good. And then from here, you are going to stay on the floor, but we're going to come into a modified side plank. So that bottom knee is going to be a kickstand, making sure your quads are still parallel. Everything is in line from your shoulders to your foot. Shoulder is directly over that elbow, and you're going to rotate. The key here is that you're driving your hips up as high as you can from that bottom leg, and then you're also pushing yourself away from the floor, making sure you're letting yourself rotate over that shoulder blade. Okay, so as you reach under, that shoulder blade is coming along the side of your rib cage. As you straighten out, it's now more towards your spine. Okay, 10 on each side. Again, really driving the hips as high as you can from that bottom leg. Really rotating by pushing the shoulder blade, pushing out of that elbow. And that bottom knee is at 90 degrees straight behind you, so your quads should be parallel. When you come through to the top, belly button and chest should be facing the same direction. Okay, so you're going to need your band with a handle for this. You can use a looped band. It should work just fine, but I'm placing that handle as low down on my foot as I can. It's around my right foot, so I'm going to grab the band with my left hand. Really extending that right leg, left knee is bent, and then I'm reaching towards the ceiling first, really trying to reach through that armpit, maintaining that reach as I pull the band overhead. You are thinking about using that big giant lat muscle to help pull the arm down, while you're maintaining that reach through that serratus muscle or through your armpit. Okay, so big inhale, exhale as you reach and pull back, inhale to return to start. Again, really working to never lose that reach. Right leg is really reaching away from the hand as well. Core is nice and engaged. The goal with a lot of these moves is the rib flare, okay? The goal with a lot of these moves is to teach your arms and shoulders how to move independently of the rib cage so that you don't need to flare it for that extra range of motion. Again, reaching and lifting off the floor, using that big giant lat muscle to help pull the arm overhead, full extension with that opposite leg. So in our child's pose breathing, we were just trying to work on getting some back expansion, some rib mobility, specifically in the back. A lot of times we flare our ribs because the back is super, super tight. So the air has nowhere to go but the front, which results in a rib flare. So the child's pose is trying to help open that up a little bit. Okay, and then that hook lying breathing against the wall, that helps engage the core and helps bring those ribs back in space naturally without much added thought. And then we add the lower leg slide to help get the full picture. So now we're connecting the low and the upper abs. Okay, so now you have your band. You're going to hook it around an anchor, and we're going to go into a hinge. The key with this one is that you're going to keep your arms at your side the whole time. They should really never move. So they're always holding a little bit of tension. And then you're pushing those hips back, knees stay over your feet, head in line with your spine, full tension in the band. So that tension in the band is going to help create some extra core engagement and help open your back and use the proper back muscles without feeling like you need to extend or lift the chest to help make this movement happen. If you don't need the full 2-minute rest, fast forward. All right, so we're popping in round 2. Grab those pillows. You are in that child's pose, breathing. Again, really trying to create room and space in the back. So by adding that pillow, or a yoga mat works as well, or a rolled up towel. A foam roller might be a little too firm, but we're trying to create movement and space in the back. If you think about yourself in a standing position, if your back is super tight and your ribs are super tight in the back and there's no movement there, you have to expand through the front. And that's why sometimes we get the rib flare. And then by creating that extra tension with the pillow or the yoga mat in your front, we can help push the air into the back and help try and get some movement there. Okay? So really good to help bring that rib flare down by opening the back. So it's not always just a matter of bringing the ribs down, but also expanding in other places. Okay, we've got that hook lying breathing. Again, hands are super glued to the wall, but you're creating tension. Before you even do anything, as soon as you create that tension, you should feel your ribs come down in space a little bit. Okay, so we're creating that top-down connection, ribs to hips, leading with the ribs with this one. And just breathing here, thinking about lifting the pelvic floor, tightening the core. Okay, shake it out, and then we're going to add those leg slides. Again, now we've connected the upper part of the core, bringing the ribs down. So now we're incorporating those lower abs, making sure that the pelvic floor and the deep TAs can help support and connect. because everything is connected and we need it to stay that way. We need the upper abs to help keep the ribs in place, as well as the lower abs to help stabilize the pelvis. Those happen at the same time. If you wanted to progress this, you could go into marches where you lift your knee to 90 and then bring it back down. You could start at 90 and tap your heel to the floor. Okay, if you are suffering from a rib flare, I highly suggest starting at this level and just make sure you can create that connection and feel how it feels in your body and in space for a little while before you try and progress it. We do not want you to get to a stage where you've progressed it too quickly and you're not keeping those ribs down. Okay, we're going into that side plank next, modified. Okay, you can stack your feet or put your top foot in front and straighten both legs, but I really like this modified version because we really get a chance to focus on pushing up with that bottom leg, rotating over and around. Again, thinking about bringing that bottom hip and top rib cage together, making that cross connection to help bring those ribs down. Okay, so sometimes we need to create an X basically across the front of your body, thinking right hip, left rib, or left hip, right rib. Those should also be able to connect to each other and help bring your ribs down in that way as well. Okay. Also just really good for getting the obliques on board, getting the glute med on board, all of the things that we need to help strength and support so that you don't have to flare your ribs. You can think about exhaling as you reach under, inhale as you come back up. Okay, and then we're going to grab that handle band again. I should have taken it off after the hinges and I forgot. But looping one handle around your foot, opposite hand will hold the band. Reach and lower. Exhale as you reach and lower. Inhale to return to center. Again, making sure that you are feeling that anchor leg extend towards the wall by your foot. Thinking about the big back muscles helping bring the arm down, keeping the ribs and the hips connected. The way to do that is exhale, lift your pelvic floor, tighten that deep core, and think about your sternum lowering towards the floor. This is a good one too because you can feel the feedback as you reach. You will feel your back arch off the floor if you are flaring the ribs. But if you are really getting a good reach through that armpit and serratus, back should not arch or round at all. Instead, you should feel nice and connected to the core. Okay, switching sides. Again, reach and then pull with that lat. You can check in with your core by putting your thumb or finger on the base of your rib cage. So thumb on the base of your rib cage, fingers on your hip bone, and make sure the distance between your thumb and finger never changes. If it's getting further apart, you're either tipping your pelvis or flaring the rib cage. If it's getting closer together, we're crunching a little bit. Again, teaching the body how to move independently of the rib cage. So getting that reach through the shoulder, getting that shoulder blade to move, which we also did in the side plank, will then mean that you don't need to get range of motion from the rib cage. You can get the range of motion you need from the shoulder. Okay, hinging. Hips go way back behind you like you're shutting the car door with your butt. Knees stay over your midfoot. Feet are only about hip width apart. Maintain equal tension in the hands the entire time. Lifting through the hips first. So hips should straighten before the knees. Head in line with your spine. Making sure you're not arching your back or trying to lift through that sternum to stand. Hips should always lead this movement. All right, so I suggest that you do this workout at least one more time. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. But ideally, you're aiming for 3 or 4 rounds of this workout, really focusing on the rib cage, the shoulder, and maintaining that good rib to hip connection, thinking about that deep core throughout. Awesome work. And again, don't hesitate to reach out.